after Shear Genius, after winning fan favorite, and like you went back to your salon and just were like, okay, let's start working again. Then a year later, what happens? How does this, I mean, do you get a call from Andy Cohen? Like, how does
I
Tabatha
did.
Salon, you
It
did?
wasn't even a year later, actually. I mean, in real world time,
Yeah.
a year later, I went back to work. Show just finished, I think, wrapped up. It was a couple of months later. And yes, I got a call from Bravo saying, could you come into the office? And I thought, oh, they're calling me in and they're probably going to give a t-shirt like, thanks for playing, and rip up the contract. I don't know, right? I had no idea. So yeah, I was like, sure, I'll come in and meet with you. And sat down. Andy was actually there, and sat down with one of the heads at Bravo and Andy, and they asked me if I'd be interested in doing a show.
So what is, I mean, what's one say to that? Are you just like, holy shit? I mean, you could swear on here, by the way.
Well, of course, one says yes. I mean, it took 2 seconds to say yes. And then the next question was, but because I didn't want my life disrupted. I didn't want my business disrupted or my team disrupted. I experienced firsthand what it was like to be on TV and the visceral reaction people had and how they responded to you and what they said about you. And it's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
So I didn't want especially my clients, to have cameras and things on them. And I didn't want my team to go through that either. So we started, after the initial meeting, talk about what it would look like and what I wanted to do and what I felt I could do, and kind of turn me on. And then that's how the show was developed.
When they initially called you, was the show possibly going to be like your
No,
partner, your clients? Like
no,
before? No, it was never that. I was just like, let's come up
I,
with an
I
idea.
honestly don't think it was, to be honest. It was, I said yes straight away, and then my butt came in. And everyone in the meeting, the Bravo people, God bless them, and Andy were like, fine, whatever you want to do.
Wow. That's pretty good. So how involved were you in coming up with the concept? Like, was
I
their
was
concept?
really involved. I was really lucky that I was partnered with an amazing production company and production team. And Bravo were really collaborative, and the production company were really collaborative. So we talked about what it was I did in my real life, and how I lived my life, and my passion I have for the industry and the things that I do. And that's how the show was shaped and what happened.
So then you start filming the show. How was that? Was it just like love at first sight? Were you like, this is great?
For me, it was love at first sight. I had no idea what I was doing. Um, I don't think, I, don't, I honestly don't think the production team had they knew what they were doing because they knew how to make TV, but we
Right.
didn't know what it was. And yes, for me, it was just love at first sight. I mean, put me in a room full of hairdressers or business owners, give me a subject that I'm passionate about, something that I do really well, and just let me go.
Yes, just let you go. And then, Tabitha Salon Takeover became Tabitha's Takeover. Did you know like you were good? Like, did you have that like business acumen before? I mean, I know you were running your own business, but like, were you aware of it that you were good at this? Yes. You're
Yeah,
shaking your head.
I knew that, yes, because again, I'm passionate about it, and I study a lot, and you don't know what you don't know. So I would learn the things that I didn't know to make sure that I was set up well in my career and my business. And I had been an educator, some would call it a coach, right? The trendy word at the moment, for years, because that's what I did. I helped other business owners in my profession. I trained them on upskilling and the things they needed to learn. So it was just with cameras.
You were already doing it essentially.
Yeah.
What is there one case, like out of all these salons and businesses you took over? Later we had Tabatha's, we had relative success with Tabatha where you came and took over family businesses. Is there one or two that stick out of just like, man, they were all messed up, but these people were just the worst?
Honestly, there were so many. I still keep in contact with people
You
from
do?
Takeover. I actually had an email from someone yesterday that I took over in season one. So,
Wow.
I still see, especially the hairdressers at hair shows and events. They have my personal information, so we communicate and I see them sometimes. Um, there were a lot that stood out for different reasons. Sometimes just because I know the behind the scenes stuff of how challenging that was to maybe get the reno done or the logistics of what we went through. And
Yeah.
some because, yeah, I didn't care for them that much. But if I didn't care for them, you all saw it at home.
And everyone, when you walk in, is like, oh shit, she's here. So how, I mean, not how real, because I mean, I understand how like
It's
reality
real.
TV works
It
and
was
like they
real.
really were afraid of you.
I will not tell you how, um, because it was genius, honestly. And it took us a minute to be able to keep that element of surprise. And the production company that I worked with and the team of people around was so great at getting me in and out of places that I would be there sometimes and people didn't even know I was there. And I'm hard to hide, let's face it. So that element of surprise, I get that it's TV, but when I walked in and everyone was there, they really didn't know that I was coming until you see that look on their faces.
It like, right, like real time being shot,
Real
like,
time.
holy shit, there you are. And sometimes you would go in like multiple times to the place and just be in disguise and they wouldn't know you were there.
I'm not telling you anything.
Well, I mean, the fact that it was in real time tells me something. That's like
It
interesting.
was in real time. I mean, we shot. It was a beast to make the show because it was shot in real time and it wasn't situational like some of the other shows you see now that a party's coming, an event, or this is going to happen. This was real shit that happened in real time and you just had to flow with it and move through it. And sometimes it was a nightmare, sometimes it was television gold, right? You just
Yeah.
didn't quite know what you were getting.
And there was never even in the beginning just a situation where you're like, I don't know what to do. Like this is a hard one. You just knew how to solve it all.
No, no, there were those times, but we also showed it. It's one of the things that I really loved is there were a couple of times that I walked out and I really walked out, and there were producers begging me to come back in, and I was being obstinate and saying, no, I'm not going back in. I don't want to do this. Um, but it was, yeah, it was real time. And it's one of the things that I'm really proud of about the show. And I think the thing that people like about it when they watch it, you can tell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is there any other way that you know how to be as far as like, because it was tough love, which I think is why.
No, no, I mean, I am who I am. So if you try and put me in a box, it's the worst thing you can do for me, is trying to force me to do something that doesn't feel genuine or authentic to me. I'm not good with disingenuous.
Well, that's what I think made the shows, all three of them, so great, is just that you were you. You weren't like, you didn't become a caricature of yourself. Are you, I mean, speaking of which, like, are you shocked at how much the Bravo network has changed? Like this little network that you were on?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to see Bravo now and see how it's changed and the way it's changed. It is different. It's different. I'm not saying that's bad, but it's different from how it was. I was there, not in the beginning, but pretty close to the evolution of Bravo. And even just little things like seeing watch what happens live. I mean, it was a little thing that Andy used to stream on his computer from his office, right? That was kind of the conception of it. It was like a vlog that he did.
Yeah.
And now look at it, it's amazing.
What was it like? You know, like you said, like it was like you and like Jackie Warner, Patti Stanger, throwing a Vicki Gunvalson here and there, Rachel Zoe. I mean, these were Jeff Lewis, these were classic days. I mean, what was it like? Like, and who were the Bravolebrities you were friends with?